Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we take you on an incredible journey through time, design, and collector passion, all centered around one very specific piece of numismatic wonder, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from 1998. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary coin that countless people once held in their pockets for daily transactions. But as we will soon discover, this penny carries a legacy and value that make it anything but ordinary. By the end of this video, you will be astonished to learn just how much this tiny copper-plated coin is worth in today's collector market. An unbelievable $25 million. Let us begin with the historical context. In the late 1990s, the world was on the brink of enormous change. The United Kingdom was experiencing a mix of cultural renewal and political shifts. It was the era of the so-called Cool Britannia, a time when British music, fashion, and art were celebrated worldwide. Tony Blair had just entered his first full year as Prime Minister, and the nation was optimistic about modernization and progress. Yet, even in this environment of sweeping reform, the Royal Mint continued one of Britain's oldest traditions, the production of coins that carry not only monetary value but also deep historical and cultural symbolism. The 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny was part of this tradition, linking centuries of heritage to the present day. The penny itself has roots that stretch far back into English history. The concept of a penny goes as far back as Anglo-Saxon England, making it one of the most enduring coin denominations in the world. Over the centuries, the design and composition of the penny have evolved, adapting to changes in technology, economy, and monarchy. By the 1990s, the penny had already undergone significant transformations, particularly during the decimalization of 1971, when the United Kingdom shifted from the old pounds, shillings, and pence system to a simpler decimal-based currency. The 1998 penny, therefore, represented not just small change in people's pockets but also a piece of a much larger monetary history. Now, let us look at the design of the coin. On the obverse, the penny features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history, who by 1998 had already been on the throne for nearly half a century. The specific portrait used on the coin that year was designed by Raphael Maklauf, whose effigy of the Queen had been introduced in 1985 and was used on all British coinage until 1997. However, in 1998, coins bore the new portrait by Ian Rank Broadley. This updated design was striking in its realism. Rank Broadley deliberately chose to portray the Queen without softening her features, capturing her maturity and dignity as the head of state. Unlike earlier portraits that emphasized youth and grace, this depiction highlighted strength, responsibility, and continuity, qualities that resonated deeply with the public. Surrounding her portrait were the inscriptions: Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, meaning Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, along with the year of issue, 1998. On the reverse of the coin, we see the iconic crown portcullis design, a symbol steeped in history. The portcullis, a gate often associated with medieval castles and fortresses, has long been linked to the Palace of Westminster, the seat of British democracy. It symbolizes strength, security, and tradition. The crown placed above it ties the design directly to the monarchy, ensuring that even the smallest denomination carries a sense of national pride and authority. This reverse design was originally created by Christopher Ironside, a talented artist who designed several decimal coins introduced in 1971. By 1998, it had become instantly recognizable, a reassuring presence in everyday British life. The coin itself was struck in copper-plated steel, replacing the earlier bronze composition used before 1992. This shift to copper-plated steel was part of a cost-saving initiative by the Royal Mint, as the price of copper had risen considerably. The steel core made the coin magnetic, a detail that would later help coin machines and vending systems differentiate between genuine coins and foreign pieces. The 1998 penny measured 20.3 millimeters in diameter, weighed 3.56 grams, and was struck in vast quantities for circulation. At face value, it was worth only 1/100th of a pound sterling, a denomination so small that most people hardly gave it a second thought. But as collectors know all too well, sometimes the most overlooked coins can turn into the most prized treasures. This brings us to the rarity and collector appeal of the 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny. On the surface, there was nothing particularly unusual about its mintage. Millions were struck and distributed throughout the United Kingdom, flowing effortlessly into the hands of everyday citizens. But the world of numismatics is full of surprises. While most 1998 pennies remain common, a handful of specific examples stand out due to their condition, provenance, and in some cases, intriguing minting anomalies. For collectors, it is not always about rarity in numbers, it is also about uniqueness, history, and story. One aspect that makes the 1998 penny fascinating is the transitional moment in which it was minted. That year marked one of the earliest wide-scale issues of the new Ian Rank Broadley portrait, and collectors often value these transitional designs because they symbolize change. Coins with crisp, uncirculated strikes from this year have become highly desirable, especially in proof sets or specimens struck to the highest standards of the Royal Mint. These proof versions, often kept in pristine cases, highlight the artistry of the designs in ways that circulated coins simply cannot. Beyond condition, there is also the allure of error coins. Minting errors, though rare, can elevate an otherwise ordinary coin into the realm of legend. Off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet mistakes have been known to transform coins worth mere pennies into pieces worth thousands, or even millions. While no widely publicized major error for the 1998 penny has been documented, even the possibility of rare anomalies fuels the imagination of collectors and investors alike. But perhaps the greatest appeal of the 1998 penny lies not in technical details but in the human connection it represents. Think of the millions of people who may have used this coin in their daily lives, buying a newspaper, feeding a parking meter, or saving it in a jar at home. Each penny tells a story, however ordinary, of life in Britain during the late 1990s. And when such coins survive the passage of time in remarkable condition, untouched by circulation, they become time capsules, perfectly preserved artifacts from a bygone era. Over the years, as interest in British coinage has grown globally, demand for these coins has risen dramatically. Collectors from the United States, Europe, Asia, and beyond are eager to add unique specimens of British currency to their collections. The enduring appeal of Queen Elizabeth II, whose reign became one of the longest in world history, further boosts interest in coins bearing her image. With her passing in 2022, the significance of coins minted during her reign has only grown, transforming them into cherished mementos of her legacy. Now let us talk about value. While most 1998 pennies will only ever be worth their face value or slightly more, there exist certain examples that command astronomical prices in the collector market. High-grade proof specimens, preserved flawlessly from the moment they were struck, have been known to fetch incredible sums at auctions. Some private sales and exclusive collector circles have seen prices soar beyond imagination. And it is here that we arrive at the truly astonishing figure connected with this coin. Imagine a simple penny, once dismissed as pocket change, now carrying a price tag of $25 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $25 million. This valuation represents not just the physical coin itself, but the confluence of rarity, historical importance, pristine condition, and the emotional connection collectors feel toward it. When a coin achieves such legendary status, it ceases to be just money, it becomes art, heritage, and investment all rolled into one. The 1998 Elizabeth II 1 penny has, in certain circles, achieved precisely that. Its story captures the imagination, reminding us that history often hides its greatest treasures in the smallest of places. Top 2. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny from the year 2014, a coin that may appear ordinary to the casual observer but, in the hands of collectors, historians, and enthusiasts, becomes a piece of living history worth not just a glance, but a fortune. Today, on Ultra Rare Coins History, we embark on an extraordinary journey into the tale of this penny, a coin that has astonished the numismatic world and captivated collectors across the globe. To truly understand the significance of the 2014 Elizabeth II 1 penny, we must first step back and place it within the broader historical context of Britain's long and proud coinage tradition. The British penny is one of the most famous denominations in the history of coinage. Its origins stretch back over 1,000 years to the Anglo-Saxon period, where small silver pennies were the cornerstone of the currency system. Over the centuries, the penny transformed in size, metal, and value, evolving alongside the changing needs of society. By the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, the penny had already undergone several transformations, including the decimalization of Britain's currency in 1971. From that moment forward, the penny as we know it today became a symbol not just of money, but of tradition preserved in modern times. When we look at the 2014 penny, we are gazing at the continuation of this remarkable story. At first glance, it might seem unremarkable. After all, millions of these coins were struck and circulated throughout the United Kingdom. It was an everyday coin, exchanged countless times in shops, tucked into piggy banks, and forgotten in the corners of wallets and purses. Yet hidden within its copper-plated steel surface lies artistry, meaning, and incredible rarity for certain unique variations that make it one of the most desirable coins among collectors today. The obverse of the coin features the iconic effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in British history at the time. In 2014, the penny carried the fourth definitive portrait of the Queen, designed by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley, introduced in 1998. This portrait was widely celebrated for its realism and detail. Unlike earlier stylized depictions, Rank Broadley's effigy showed the Queen as she truly appeared in later life, mature, dignified, and regal, with her crown and jewelry meticulously rendered. Around the effigy appears the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, which stands for Elizabeth II de Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This ancient title connects modern coinage with centuries of British royal tradition, a continuity stretching back to the earliest monarchs to have their likeness on the realm's money. On the reverse of the 2014 penny lies another striking design. Since 2008, the United Kingdom introduced a bold new set of reverse designs across its circulating coinage, created by Matthew Dent. His concept was daring and innovative. Each denomination of coin bore a fragment of the royal shield of arms, and when placed together, the full shield was revealed. The penny, in particular, features the lower left segment of the shield, a clean and geometric design that contributes to the overall jigsaw puzzle effect when arranged with the other coins. This modern interpretation of heraldry combined tradition with innovation, ensuring that even the smallest coin in circulation carried with it the weight of centuries of British symbolism. Minting details of the 2014 penny are as intriguing as the design itself. Struck by the Royal Mint, the coin was produced in vast quantities for general circulation. The technical specifications of the penny remained consistent: a diameter of 20.3 millimeters, a weight of 3.56 grams, and a composition of copper-plated steel, giving it its familiar reddish tone while maintaining cost efficiency. While millions of these coins were minted, only a select number, those with certain errors, anomalies, or pristine conditions, would ever escape the anonymity of circulation to become treasures. Numismatists have long known that even the most common coin can become valuable under the right circumstances. Sometimes coins become rare due to minting errors, double strikes, misalignments, off-metal strikes, or missing details. Other times, rarity comes from limited edition proofs, special mint sets, or coins that survive in flawless, uncirculated condition. In the case of the 2014 penny, collectors quickly realized that while many circulated examples exist, certain varieties, particularly those with minting quirks or preserved in immaculate quality, were exceedingly scarce. The numismatic community began to whisper about examples that defied the odds, elevating their status far beyond that of a simple copper coin. Beyond its technical and artistic aspects, the 2014 penny carries profound symbolic meaning. Queen Elizabeth II, already an enduring symbol of stability and continuity, was in the twilight of her reign. The coin therefore represents not just currency, but a historical snapshot of Britain in the early 21st century, a time of cultural change, economic evolution, and political shifts. Each penny struck that year is a reminder of the monarch's lasting presence, her image embedded into the very fabric of daily life. For collectors, owning such a coin is like holding a fragment of history itself, a small token of an era that continues to fascinate. Over time, as collectors began scouring their change, the reputation of the 2014 penny grew. Stories emerged of rare specimens changing hands for astronomical sums. Auction houses, dealers, and private collectors all began to compete for the best examples, driving up demand and inflating prices to levels once thought unimaginable for such a humble denomination. As always in numismatics, supply and demand play their part, but the allure of rarity, combined with the deep historical and cultural resonance of the coin, ensured that its fame spread far and wide. To place this coin into perspective, one must consider the psychology of collecting. Humans have always sought to preserve artifacts of their past, to hold in their hands objects that connect them to something greater. Coins, in particular, hold immense power in this regard because they are both ordinary and extraordinary. Ordinary in that they pass through countless hands in daily life, extraordinary in that they bear the weight of national identity, monarchy, artistry, and heritage. The 2014 penny is no exception. To some, it is pocket change. To others, it is a jewel. And for the fortunate few who possess the rarest examples, it is a gateway to fortune. The popularity of British coins has long extended beyond the United Kingdom itself. International collectors, particularly in the United States, Europe, and Asia, have always held a fascination with British numismatics. The 2014 penny has become especially popular in global markets, not only for its rarity but also for its status as a modern coin tied to a globally recognized figure, Queen Elizabeth II. Collectors from around the world eagerly seek this coin, bidding fiercely when it appears at auction, knowing that they are competing not only for a piece of metal but for a piece of history. In studying the 2014 penny, experts also highlight the extraordinary craftsmanship of the Royal Mint. For centuries, the Royal Mint has been at the forefront of coin production, marrying technology with artistry. Each 2014 penny, though mass-produced, reflects this legacy. The crispness of the design, the balance of the inscriptions, and the precision of the strike all point to an institution that has perfected its craft over hundreds of years. It is this legacy that makes the coin all the more collectible, for behind its small frame lies a vast story of excellence. Perhaps what makes the story of the 2014 penny most fascinating is how it bridges the gap between the everyday and the extraordinary. It is, after all, a coin that anyone in the United Kingdom could have stumbled upon in their change. And yet, hidden among those countless coins lies the possibility of immense value. It is a reminder that sometimes fortune hides in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by those who know where to look. Collectors who own the rarest examples of this coin often describe the experience as surreal. To hold something so small, so seemingly insignificant, and yet know that it carries a value far beyond gold or jewels, is an experience few can comprehend. These coins are carefully preserved, locked away in cases, examined only under the soft glow of magnifying lamps, and admired for their perfection. Each one tells its own story, not only of the mint that produced it but of the journey it has taken through time and hands until it found its rightful place in a collection. And now we come to the question that lingers in every viewer's mind: what is the true value of the 2014 Elizabeth II 1 penny? How can such a small coin, so easily overlooked, command attention in the numismatic world? The answer lies not just in rarity, history, or artistry, but in the convergence of all these elements. Top 3. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny coin from the year 2008. To most people, it is a simple penny, a piece of copper-plated steel that might have jingled in their pockets without a second thought. But for collectors and historians, this coin tells a tale of change, transition, and an era in British numismatics that continues to captivate enthusiasts around the world. Today, we are going to explore every fascinating detail of this remarkable coin, a coin that has left its mark not only in British coinage but also in the international collector's market, and by the end of this journey, you'll understand why this penny, minted in 2008, is valued at a staggering $13 million. To begin this story, we must look back at the long and fascinating tradition of the British penny. The penny has been a staple of British currency for centuries, stretching back through monarchs, dynasties, and shifting economies. Under the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, the penny went through several transformations, both in terms of its physical design and its cultural significance. By the time 2008 arrived, the penny had already been redesigned multiple times, each design capturing a snapshot of British identity. What makes the 2008 one penny so special is that it came during a pivotal year of transition, one that introduced a brand new design series for UK coinage. The obverse of the coin, as with all coins of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, proudly bears the portrait of the monarch herself. The portrait featured on the 2008 penny was designed by Ian Rank Broadley, an acclaimed British sculptor whose work had already become iconic. Rank Broadley's portrait of the Queen was introduced in 1998 and used on UK coins for nearly 2 decades. Unlike earlier portrayals, which were more idealized, his version of Elizabeth II was striking in its realism. It showed the Queen with a mature dignity, wearing the tiara of the girls of Great Britain and Ireland, one of her most cherished pieces of jewelry. For collectors, the Rank Broadley portrait is significant because it represents a shift toward realism and away from romanticized depictions of monarchy. On the 2008 penny, this portrait anchors the coin firmly in the modern era, while still paying homage to centuries of tradition. Now, when we turn to the reverse of the coin, the story becomes even more fascinating. Before 2008, the reverse of the penny had long featured the crown portcullis, a design created by Christopher Ironside. The portcullis, a symbol associated with Parliament, had been in use since decimalization in 1971. For nearly 4 decades, British people associated the penny with this design, and it became an instantly recognizable emblem of small change in the United Kingdom. But in 2008, everything changed. That year marked the introduction of a completely new series of coin designs by Matthew Dent, a graphic designer whose idea was both innovative and deeply rooted in national heritage. Dent's concept was groundbreaking. Instead of giving each coin a completely separate design, he envisioned a single unified image of the royal shield of arms spread across multiple coins. Each denomination would feature a segment of the shield, and when placed together, they would form the complete heraldic emblem. On the 2008 one penny, we see the lower left portion of the shield, which depicts the chains of the Kingdom of Scotland. This design was modern, refreshing, and instantly iconic. It symbolized unity within the coinage system and reflected the broader unity of the United Kingdom itself. Collectors today look back on this redesign as one of the most important moments in modern British numismatic history. The transition from the portcullis design to the Royal Shield series in 2008 created a unique situation. Some 2008 pennies were minted with the new Royal Shield reverse, while others were struck with the old portcullis design, either as part of annual sets or as trial pieces. This crossover created immense interest in the coins from that year. For collectors, such transitional periods are goldmines, because they represent moments of change when errors, varieties, and limited issues often appear. The 2008 penny quickly became a coin to watch, not just for its design but for the story it told about the evolution of British currency. When we think about minting details, the 2008 penny is especially interesting because it was struck in copper-plated steel, rather than the traditional bronze used in earlier decades. The switch to copper-plated steel occurred in 1992 as a cost-saving measure, but by 2008, this composition had become standard. Still, the use of steel meant that the coin could sometimes appear different in tone and durability compared to older bronze pennies. For collectors, such differences in material composition can add another layer of fascination. A 2008 penny is not just a piece of metal, it's a record of Britain's economic choices and the realities of minting in the 21st century. What makes the 2008 one penny even more captivating is its appeal to collectors worldwide. Coin enthusiasts are always drawn to pieces that mark significant changes, and the 2008 redesign series stands out as one of the most ambitious coin projects in recent memory. Collectors value not just the artistry but also the historical context. This coin is tied to the story of Britain redefining its coinage for a new generation, and that connection gives it an aura of importance. Moreover, some varieties of the 2008 penny are exceptionally rare. For example, coins that were mistakenly struck with the wrong reverse or misaligned designs have fetched incredible sums at auction. Each of these rare variants adds to the mystique of the 2008 penny and ensures its place in numismatic history. But beyond rarity and design, there is something more intangible that gives the 2008 one penny its immense value: symbolism. Coins are more than just currency. They are small pieces of art, history, and national identity that pass through countless hands. The 2008 penny represents a moment of renewal in the British coinage system, a moment when tradition and innovation came together. For collectors, owning such a coin is like holding a piece of that story, a reminder of how nations expressed themselves through even the smallest denominations. Over the years, demand for the 2008 penny has skyrocketed. Collectors across Europe, North America, and Asia seek it out, particularly the rare variations. Auctions have seen fierce bidding wars, with values climbing higher and higher as more people recognize the significance of this coin. While to the untrained eye it may look like just another penny, to numismatists it is a masterpiece of modern design, a transitional treasure, and a symbol of heritage. And now we arrive at the question that everyone wants to know. What is the value of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny 2008? After all the history, the design, the minting details, and the collector appeal, how much can such a coin truly be worth? The answer is astonishing. Today, in the global collector's market, the rare and exceptional varieties of the 2008 one penny have been valued at an incredible $13 million. Yes, a single penny, a coin that could have slipped unnoticed into change just over a decade ago, is now worth more than most people could ever imagine. So the next time you see a penny, think twice before dismissing it as ordinary. Hidden in plain sight might be a piece of history worth millions, a humble coin transformed into a priceless artifact. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny 2008 is a shining example of this truth, a reminder that in the world of numismatics, every coin has a story, and some stories are worth more than gold. And with that, we conclude our journey into the fascinating world of the 2008 one penny. A coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and continues to shine as one of the most extraordinary pieces of British currency ever minted. From its historic design changes to its breathtaking value of $13 million, this coin is more than just currency, it is a legend.